welcome back to Mayhem with Maverick, brought to you by Mayhem Studios, LLC. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Hope you have all your fingers and toes. The shindig to say goodbye to summer, it's done. So, let's get to it, right? Disclaimer, if you don't like it, don't watch. If you like it, hey, great. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. I'm not here to upset anybody. I'm just telling you how I feel and what I see. So let's get to it. 6 hostages were found dead. These hostages were taken during the October 6th invasion of Israel by Hamas. One was an American, and the only thing that he did wrong was he was attending a music festival in Israel, and he lost his life for that. Folks, let's be clear. Hamas is not a good group of people. Now, Palestinians and Hamas, 2 different things. There are good Palestinians out there, but Hamas are not good people. Hamas doesn't give a crap about their own Palestinians. They will hide in areas where it's a large population. They will put things there purposely so that the Israelis will bomb, trying to kill Hamas and their supplies and kill innocent citizens. But guess what? Don't get upset about that. That's part of war. And the only people that should be blamed is Hamas and the Palestinians for putting up with it. Because Israel, believe it or not, is probably one of the most concerned countries when it comes to how they do invasions, how they fight their wars. They try their best to keep the citizens safe as possible and a minimal amount of collateral damage. Because I can tell you Putin don't care. I can tell you Zelensky don't care about the Russians. We didn't care back in many of the wars when we just carpet bombed people. Israel does their best to avoid innocent people being killed. But it happens because that's what happens in war. And the way Hamas fights, it causes it. So the only people to blame here is Hamas. All right? So funny that I should say the only people to blame, because all these new college students and all these kids are back out protesting again. Oh, shocker. The last protest at Columbia University was on graduation day. And then all the summer they were gone. But now it's the first day of school and they're back again, folks. They're back again. Just watch the news. They're protesting again. The problem is, why weren't you if it's such an important issue, why weren't you protesting all through the summer? Because it's not to them. It's not important. I'll show you and I'll tell you how it's not important to them. Me, I'm a Gen Xer. Proud of it, right? My parents and my in-laws are all baby boomers. My father and my father-in-law both served in Vietnam. My uncle served in Vietnam. A lot of the dads I grew up around served in Vietnam. And some of the moms served in Vietnam, right? So most of the baby boomers were on one or two sides. They were either serving or they were back home. And some of the ones back home were protesting the war. And they had that right. They were upset because we were involved in something that probably shouldn't have been involved in. And a lot of our men and women were dying, okay? So here's the thing. They protested correctly. God strike me down for using this woman's name. Jane Fonda went over to North Vietnam, got pictures taken with North Vietnamese soldiers. You can see her face, so you know where she stands on the war in Vietnam. Me, personally, she's a see you next Tuesday. She should have never done that. But the people back in America that were protesting the Vietnam War, they protested at the DNC. They protested in colleges. They didn't get violent like these ignoramuses are. And you know the biggest thing, folks? They never covered their face. You know why these anti-Israeli BLMers, Antifa idiots cover their face? Because they don't believe in the cause. If you believe in the cause, you'll show your face. Those baby boomers did. God, when Martin Luther King marched, nobody covered their face because it was the rightful thing. These young idiots are so liberal and so out of touch with the reality that they cover their face because they don't want their mommies and daddies to know they're doing this. They don't want their friends to know they're doing this. They don't want their employers or their college to know they're doing this. And they don't want future employers or future colleges to be able to find them on the internet doing this. when it all hits the fan and then people have blowback from it. Because there's already companies saying they will never hire anybody that's been convicted or arrested or seen. There are law firms that are saying if you are an anti-Israeli protester and you apply to our law firm, we're not going to hire you. And hey, that's the consequence for protesting. You have every right to protest. Take the face cover off, though. Be a person. Be an adult. Don't be a child holding a temper tantrum in front of everybody. Because I don't believe that you believe in the thing. Because truly, if you believed, you'd understand that Hamas attacked Israel first. Hamas committed genocide by killing almost 1,000 people. And Israel, all they did was react to being attacked. It'd be like the same thing if I walked into your backyard and killed your whole family. You have a right to react to that. So what's the difference? The difference is you don't understand, they don't understand the whole crap that's been going on in the Middle East since before we were kids. That flag that they carry for the Palestinian state, that flag wasn't created until 1964 by the PLO. And then they officially created the state of Palestine and made that flag the state flag in 1988. I bet you those kids don't even know that. Shoot, I just saw a video where one kid was carrying a Saudi Arabian flag because it looks similar, and I'll show you. Similar, but you got to be an idiot to think that that looks anything like a Hamas flag. These people don't understand what's truly going on because they've been bred to not believe all of us in our generations. They're believing all these teachers and college professors and the liberal media that are pushing an anti-America, anti-Israel issue that shouldn't be there, honestly. Israel has a right to be a country, and they have a right to defend themselves. Hamas has no right to attack them for no reason. And honestly, Hamas is a terrorist organization, and it's been proven. They're backed by the Iranians. And so is Hezbollah. So if you want to support them, go ahead, protest. I'm all for it. Do it. Uncover your face, right? Uncover your face. Show me who you are. And if you believe in it so much, go live under their rules. Go live in their country. Because you're not going to like it. All the girls that I see walking around supporting Hamas, trust me, under Muslim law, you wouldn't be able to do half the stuff you're doing, probably 3/4 of the stuff you're doing right now in this country. So go ahead, go live over there and see how great it is. They're not great people. Just educate yourself, and then you might realize you're on the wrong side, okay? And that's it. I'm done with that. All right. Something that's close to my heart that really upsets me. 2 Marines were attacked over in Izmir, Turkey. They were a part of the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit off the USS Wasp. They were on Liberty Call. I've been to Izmir. I was in Izmir in the early 90s off the USS Incheon. I was on Liberty Call there as well. It's an okay town. It's not a place that sailors would really want to go to. I mean, there's a lot better places a sailor would want to go to. But it's got some history. It's got some uniqueness to it. It definitely has an old world vibe to it. People were nice up to a point. I mean, I was with some friends. A cab driver accused us of not paying him. We did. The police showed up and the police made us pay him again. So we paid it twice. Our captain wanted to make it clear to the sailors and the Marines on the ship that if we got arrested in that country, there was nothing he could do. And there was nothing the embassy could do. We were going to sit in prison. And to prove that point and to really hammer it in, I think it was like 2 or 3 nights. He played Midnight Express back to back to show you what prison was like in Turkey so that you didn't want to screw up. And it's not a clean place either. I can tell you, the water from their toilets and stuff goes straight into the Mediterranean Sea. But that was in the 90s. Hopefully, maybe they've changed. Now, when I was in Izmir, I was with the 24 Mu. They were on my ship. They're from Camp Lejeune. This is the same organization, the same unit that always goes with us to the Med. And it's sad that these Marines had to experience this. They were attacked by members of the Turkish Youth Union. They were a small, nationalist, anti-American group. And when they attacked one of the Marines, they put a bag over his head and said, "Yankee go home, Yankee go home." This is just unacceptable. Nowhere in the world should any citizen be able to go someplace and then get attacked for being a citizen of another country. I don't care if it's an American going to Turkey or a Turkish coming here. You don't attack people. That ain't right. Okay? 15 people were arrested by the local authorities and they're being investigated. NCIS and the local authorities are investigating this. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll crack down on it. But I feel bad for the Marines and I feel bad for those sailors because they're probably going to get a more controlled liberty now in that port while they're there. All right, so let's go on to the next topic. Oregon finally pulled their head out their ass, right? The governor has criminalized fentanyl, heroin, and meth. So I didn't really know the full story of all the laws that I know that out west they're trying to decriminalize drugs and decriminalize all this. I had no idea that in 2020, Oregon used Measure 110 and decriminalized the personal use of fentanyl, heroin, and meth. Made it a citation and $100 fine. These are hard drugs. This isn't marijuana. Okay, I kind of get and I kind of agree with the decriminalization of marijuana. Okay, fentanyl, heroin, and fentanyl, heroin, and meth. These are hardcore drugs. These aren't drugs you should be playing with. I mean, Jesus, fentanyl, cops have stuff on them now. These little Narcans, not for people. The Narcan's for me. We have other Narcan for them, but the Narcan's for me or my partner if they touch it. I mean, just a grain of it, the size of a sand, can kill an elephant. And people using this to get high. And honestly, every time I've ever dealt with a fentanyl user, it's always because they overdosed. So again, they made it legal to have it for personal use in Oregon. But after 4 years, overdoses increased. Shocker. Addiction increased. And criminal activity associated with those kind of drugs increased. Well, shocker. These are hardcore drugs. And meth, people will do whatever they can to get a fix. Same with heroin, the same with fentanyl. These drugs in my state of Florida, any amount possession of it is a felony. And it should be a high charged amount. You should be going to jail if you have any of those kind of drugs. They're not high narcotics. They kill people. They can kill a fireman who's trying to save your life because you overdosed on it. You can kill a police officer trying to save your life. A nurse, anybody who comes in contact with you, they could die because you're using it. That's how dangerous they are. Fentanyl was designed for medical use, and so was heroin. Damn. And meth was just created out of nowhere. But the fact of the matter is, these are not drugs that should be for personal use. These drugs kill people. And people die just trying to get it because of all the crap coming across the border. So thank you, Oregon, for finally being smart. Now, I got a pet peeve I got to tell you about. We got a lot of people moving into Florida, right? And I don't care because we're moving to Tennessee eventually. But hey, let me explain something. Florida is a tropical area. So we have torrential downpours. We have hurricanes. We get rain a lot. Listen, when it's raining, don't put your hazards on. I know it's raining. My windshield wipers are on. I don't need your freaking hazards to be on to tell me it's raining. Okay? Don't put your hazards on. What you should do when it's raining is put your windshield wipers on, put your headlights on, and slow down. Because the oil is seeping up from the roadway with the fresh rain. And for the first 5 to 20 minutes, the road's very slippery. So you should slow down. Your hazards, I don't know where that came from. I see it. I've seen it all over the country when I served in the military. It is the most annoying thing. You're not supposed to do it. Listen, you have brake lights. You have taillights. So when you turn your headlights on, your taillights turn on. So I know you're in front of me. And if for some reason you stop or you slow down, your brake lights come on. I know you're in front of me. Those hazards are the dumbest thing in the world. So if you've moved to Florida and you like turning your hazards on during the rain, just stop. Because I don't need you to tell me it's raining. I already know. And I'm going to whip past you because you're ignorant. Now, that being said, hope everybody liked it. If not, hey, that's okay. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here as therapy for myself, get things off my chest, maybe educate you, maybe induce a conversation. So, if you like what you saw, follow. If you like it even more, subscribe, please. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'll keep doing it as long as I want because, again, as long as I have one follower, I can have 0 followers. I'm still going to do it just because I feel good. It makes me feel better. And, hey, why not? See you next time.